Hey everybody, happy Monday Night Live. First of all, I'm excited for a lot of reasons, but my top two reasons. Number one, Roz is on tonight. And y'all listen, I heard a lot about Rozalyn Payne before I ever met her. And then when I met her, I'm like, this is why everybody in the company loves her. I mean, immediately we were super fast friends, and she's so incredibly smart and encouraging. Like, I was the new kid on campus with this dual school trainer. And listen, Roz was like zoomed in. It was just this whole thing. But she made me feel like I had smart things to say and then affirmed it by letting me talk to her team. So I'm like, okay, we can be friends. But one thing that I love about Rozalyn, first of all, is she has connected with some people on my team who really needed some perspective. Roz worked a full-time career all the way to Sapphire when she built this. And so I just asked her, I'm like, Roz, listen, do you feel like people who are career focused outside of Plexus can be successful? Like, help me build my belief so I can go build their belief. And man, the things that she shared was so encouraging. I said, can you just come talk to our whole team? Because we have a lot of working people. And even if you don't work a career, you guys, you're going to recruit people on your team who do, who work full time, and you need to be equipped to encourage them and support them in this endeavor. So I'm going to turn it over to Roz, a dear friend of mine. We're so excited to hear from you, Roz.
Well, great. Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm just kind of giddy to get to talk to y'all. And y'all have a big group. Look at all these people who come in our lives. That's incredible. So I'll just tell you all a little bit about myself. I'm Rozalyn Payne. I'm a Diamond Senior Gold Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And I've been around the block. I have been with Plexus since June of 2013. And when I started Plexus, my girlfriends had been trying the products and had been kind of dabbling in it for about 3 months, I guess. And I, at the time, was working full time. I have a 19-year degree in advertising. I was a media director for ad agencies all around Dallas. I owned my own boutique ad shop at one time. The recession of '07 completely wiped us out. So I had to scramble and get any work I could. So at the time that Plexus kind of entered into my life, I was running the media and marketing for a private school here in town. And then I still had two clients from my ad agency that I was working on the side. So I had three jobs I was doing. I was working about 50, 60 hours a week, and y'all, I was dying. But I didn't know any different. My husband and I both have worked our tail off. I mean, it's crazy. And it seemed we both worked so hard, but we could never keep our nose above water. You know what I mean? I know so many dual income families feel the same way. And it's like you think that you're going to get ahead one month. And we barely even had an extra $100 at the end of the month. And it didn't make any sense because we both worked so hard. And I mean, we'd be like just killing it one month and we'd have an extra $200 and then our hot water heater goes out. And then we have something great. Oh my gosh, he got a little bonus. And then we need a car. And it was always something. And it was just drowning me. And, all my girlfriends started this Plexus thing. And I just sat back shaking my head like, y'all, what are y'all doing? I mean, I was the biggest skeptic. And they were calling me, oh my gosh, Ross, you totally got to do this with us. And I was like, absolutely not. I will not be one of those people. And I actually said to them, I'm not going to lie. I actually said to them, I'm just going to sit back and wait to the bottom because all y'all are just jumping off the bridge. And they're like, oh, Roz, just wait, And I was just like, whatever. Month after month went by. And not only were they looking awesome, some were coming off medications, all the things, all the great Plexus things that we all know, but they were making incredible money. And back then we had paper paychecks. And all of our kids went to the same private school. And my friends would walk into my office and they would slap their paycheck down on my desk and they'd be like, boom, and they'd walk out. And I would look down and I'd be like, did she really just make that kind of money doing this Plexus thing? Because she's never had a day in her life. I mean, this stuff was killing me because I was working like a dog and they were so much money doing this. I was like, this doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. I have a college degree. I've always worked in corporate America. Every job I've had the corporate ladder. You want that next raise. You want that next promotion. You're fighting against the people, you're up against other people, not really fighting, up against, your co promotion. So it's kind of this dog eat dog world. And there was just stuff that always went down in corporate America. That was all I knew. That was it. That was what I knew about working and getting ahead. And I just thought you just work your way up a corporate ladder and you work for a company and that's just what you do. And then I'm seeing my friends making more than I'm making in a month while they're on their phones, all laying out together. They would send me selfie pictures of all of them around one of the pools. And I'm like, and all these women right now, by the way, my whole circle of friends, they're all diamond ambassadors with Plexus right now. So we all will sit around and laugh about this. I'm like, you guys were so mean. You guys were like just throwing it in my face that you guys had. And they were like, Roz, we had a freedom that you were not believing in. And we were trying to show you every way we possibly could to get you to do it with. But what finally did it was actually my husband. So he's friends with all their spouses. He was seeing all this on Facebook. He was seeing posts and all the great things they were shouting out about themselves. And, he was working from home and the doorbell rang and it was a UPS guy. And there was this box. And you guys know, when you have a lot of Plexus products, they have these boxes with a duct tape that says Plexus. And I'm like, are my friends like trying to push this stuff on me? What is happening right now? And he's like, oh, babe, that's mine. And I'm like, are you buying from my friends on the site? What is happening right now? And he's like, babe, what I want to try these things because what if it worked? And what if this could help Colton? And so I have a son. He's high functioning in the autism spectrum. And at the time he was going into middle school, and he needed a neurotherapy. And it was going to cost us $1,000 a month out of pocket. And the insurance refused to pay for it. And it was breaking me that I could not help my son. And we worked so hard and we couldn't even provide something that I knew was going to help him. He was going into middle school, and y'all know for typical kids how hard middle school is. For a child with learning differences, y'all, it is torture. And I did not want to send him off into this big bad world of middle school, not mentally armed with, the best he could possibly be. And so, when he said that to me, it was like in this moment, there was this massive paradigm shift, because the whole time my friends had been going on and on and on about Plexus, I kept thinking about what it would make me look like. What would people say, or that's not, I don't do those kind of things, because I've never known anybody who'd made it to the top of a network marketing company. All these preconceived notions of what I thought network marketing was. And that's all I thought about. I never thought, what could something like this do for my family? What could it do? What could it provide for them? What kind of freedom could it give to my husband? I never thought outside of myself until he said that. And I thought, okay, if this is for Colton, I'll give this a try, because all you mamas out there know we would knock down walls. See, I get emotional to this day. Y'all, I've been in this business for almost 9 years and I still can't tell the story, full out story, without getting emotional, because it's so real time, y'all. And Christina's like, Roz, I knew you were going to come on my call and like totally like get weepy, but it was so real. And so I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to do this for Colton. I bet we'll make a couple $100 and we're going to have to pray through the rest, because I have no this is going to work. And I called my friend. I was like, all right, girl, I'm in. And she's like, game on. She goes, okay, get out your notebook. So I got out a little notebook and I took notes on one sheet of paper. That was it. We didn't have videos. We didn't have trainings. We didn't have all the stuff we have now, all the incredible collateral that we have now to train our teams. We had nothing except for kind of with how you did it. How did you do it? Hey, okay, this is how we do it. So I took my notes on this one sheet of paper and I put my blind. I just did what they said. Y'all, my first full month with Plexus, I made $1,200 commission. And I remember being so blown away because the Lord totally provided in that moment. Like, oh my gosh, not only did he give me this $1,000 to cover Colton's therapy, but that extra $200 was like a whisper from the Lord saying, you can do so much more with this. This is a gift. And I remember going into my, talk to my husband again. I'm like, babe, I can't believe this. And B, what if really this acumen behind this? What would happen then? What could I do if I really treated this like one of my companies? What could we do with it? And in my deepest dreams, which I never even let anybody know, I wanted to be an at-home mom. But I didn't let myself dream that because I didn't think it could ever happen. Like my husband, John and I, we used to go on dates. And you know how sometimes you go on a date with your husband when you're young and you're newly married, you're like, okay, babe, if we like had $1,000,000, what would we do with it? Okay, we wouldn't play that game because somewhere in our hearts, we knew that we'd never achieve that. So why even dream that? And I know that sounds so limited. I look back at all that, I think, wow, it was just our reality and we didn't know any different. And, we just kind of did what we knew. But this new reality, I mean, I had proven it. I had proven to myself you can do it. And I just wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to be the first eyes they saw when they walked in the door. I wanted to be at a pool with them on a Tuesday at 10 in the morning and not be sending them off to stay grandmas or nannies over the summer. I wanted to be that one. I wanted to be the room mom to bring the cookies in to the Valentine's party. I wanted to be that person. And I thought, this might be my out. This might be it. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. Because not only was money great, but it felt so good to be doing something as a career that meant something. I mean, I remember getting a text early on. Thank you so much for sharing this with my wife. She's been on the couch for months. She's been so depressed. Our marriage was dwindling. We were losing her. And for the first time, she got up and she was around and we went on a date night tonight and I'm getting my wife back and I'm so grateful. And I sat back and I'm like, it wasn't me that did this. It was the Lord. And I'm just a conduit to getting these products in these people's hands. If that is one person, what if I shared this with all of my friends? Because I have lots of friends from all my different stages of life, like all y'all do. I mean, I think people think, oh, I just don't have a lot of friends right now. You guys have all lived big lives. You have from elementary school and Girl Scouts and your first job, second job, and your first youth group, your youth group, and your first Sunday school, all the different stages of your life. And if you have kids, oh my gosh, Pandora's box is open. All of the sports that they're in, all the activities they're in, you've got all these different circles. And I remember too saying to myself, well, I can't really share with the people at our kids' school because all my friends already have all them. So I'm not even going to talk to them. So this is the tip. This is one of my tips. Don't ever do this. I hid everybody that we had in common with each other because I didn't want them to see just yet another Plexus person. So I talked to everybody that my circle of friends didn't know. Well, it just took off. I put on my blinders again when I finally decided I'm going to do this, and I just ran, and I ran so fast. Some of the very first things I did too was I reached out to people who I knew in my circles that were not afraid of hard work, that were multitaskers, that were sharp, that just all the things it didn't mean they had to be like the most loud person in the room at all. People that are well respected. Sometimes the quietest people sit back and they say some of the wisest words. Those people. I wanted a team, an honorable team. I wanted high levels of integrity. I thought if I'm going to be and I'm going to do this, because I realized quickly too that, oh my gosh, I'm a leader. I'm not just selling Plexus products. Oh my gosh, I have to be a leader and I've got to lead these people. So as the business built, I realized, okay, I've got to reach out to people. A lot of my past business coworkers, all you guys that work, trust me, you can speak so eloquently to your friends who are in your old job because you know how it feels to be there. You know how it feels to have a boss down the hall that tells you when you can and cannot sit in that chair, and when you can and cannot take a vacation, and when you can or cannot get off early because your kid's home sick. You all know how that feels, so you know how to talk to them. You know how to pick up the phone. I think if some of my friends in my industry had joined at the beginning and they had called me and had these real conversations, I probably would have joined back a little back before some of my other friends. Some of these ballers would have been on my team because sign up for it. But it didn't matter. I signed up, and my journey is different than theirs, but my journey is, again, what the Lord set up for me. And so I, again, put on those blinders you guys. I took off. And in the next 8 months from that day, after first month, I went Emerald. And I remember thinking, this is insane. How in the world am I now making six figures doing this on the side? Again, you guys, I was working full time the entire time. And I had to really respect my boss at the time. And I couldn't, you know, my Plexus work on his time. I had to be very, very cognizant of that. So I would wake up an hour early before my kids every day. I would use my lunch break instead of going out with my friends at lunch. I would return calls. I would do all the things. After I got the kids to bed at night, instead of going and watching reality TV like I did back in the day, I opened up my laptop because there was no better joy than adding somebody to my team. I mean, than somebody saying, okay, I want to do this. I was like, okay, this is way better than me watching that reality TV because I'm growing my business and I'm one day closer to being home with my kids. When I hit Sapphire, I guess school year ended and I was able to leave because we worked on a school year basis, and I was able to retire. And that post, someone posted it the other day. It was my last day, and it said, for 19 years, I've been waiting for this moment. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget getting in my car and pulling out of there and saying to myself, I'm never going back. I'm never going back because I've had a taste of like to be my own boss, to do my own thing, and to be like in control of my entire of my future for my family. And oh, it felt so good. I guess to that I went Emerald. 2 months after that I went Sapphire, and 3 months after that I went Diamond. Went fast. It did. But guys, how did it go so fast? I had a lot of level ones, and all of us were working at the same pace. We all wanted this. We all had the same dream, and we were slaying together. We linked arms. We were sharing ideas. Would fail. We're like, guys, don't ever do this because I did it and totally messed up. Or what was even better, guys, I just did this and I got lots of traction. We did that a lot back then. And we'd be like, oh yeah. And we'd all share the post. And we would word it, especially because we have all the stuff that we have now, so I just remember all the little tips and the tricks that we would do back then that just exploded our business. And I even remember when I hit Diamond, like, I'm not stopping here. I'm not stopping here because I want to be deep into Diamond where I never, ever, ever have to worry. I never have to worry about falling back or all the things. And all I want to do now is all of my best friends up where I am, because there is no freedom like this. None. I, have a lot of people who ask me, what world did you do while you're working full time? How did you do that? Because I'm juggling. And kind of say goes also for people who have a lot of littles at home, you guys. If you can really nail down time management and give yourself segments of the day that are A, work times, and B, non-negotiable non-work times. There were times, and I trained my team very, very, very early on to be self-reliant. They had to learn where to find answers. Show them how to search things. I had to show them back then when we had questions about product, we called customer service. I giggle at all the things we used to do. If you didn't know what you were doing, you're like, okay, hey, here's the number for customer service. They know everything, so just call them. I told everyone how to search and where to search for things. And I said, you can reach me at this time, and at this time. Any other time I can't reach you. So all you guys, I need you to lean on each other at those times. And they would have their lists going. So at lunch, it was more of me getting on with my team and them peppering me with questions and us troubleshooting and answering all the things. And then I'd be like, okay, guys, I'll talk to you tonight. And I'd get off and I'd go back to work. It taught my team so fast how, because it's man a fish or teach a man a fish analogy. That's kind of what we were doing. They had to learn on their own how to be resourceful and things. So they were learning things fast. They weren't just like, hey, Roz, how do I find blah, 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 blah? And I would find it for them and spoon feed it to them. I didn't do that. They had to go find it. They had to research it. They had to look it up, and they had to find it themselves. So when they added people, they taught people how to research and find out things and do things on their own. So we had a lot of self-starters because that's kind of all we knew. We're not easy, but they were very hard. We didn't know different. We just knew the freedom that the business provided, which was, we were so just in awe of the reality of what was going on with the business and the freedoms that it provided. I remember the day that I drove my hail dented minivan, no doors working, whole 9 yards into the Lexus dealership to get my new car. Never had a car that's had a leather interior. And I went in and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the neatest thing I've ever. And they totally laughed at me. They were like, oh, bless your heart, we don't want your car, but here's your new one. But I will never forget that, just that feeling of, I can't believe this is my life. I'm no different than anybody else. I live in a typical suburbs and drove a minivan and worked my tail off and took one vacation a year maybe. And, we only ate out when we had coupons and everything was, shoestring budget. And that was just our life. But the freedom that this has provided, I can't even put it into words. I've been able to move my kids to schools where they thrive. My son, I shared earlier, with special needs. I moved into a school here in Dallas for kids with learning differences, and he thrived. Graduated top of his class. He was failing where he was before. My daughter's an actress, so she was, moved her to a theater school, loved it. Been able to pay off the house and be able to do so much, so much. I mean, it goes on and on and on, and it's still growing. My team is still growing. I look at it and I'm like, I still am shocked. I'm not going to lie. Everyone's like, oh, you're probably used to it by now. I'm like, no. I remember very well where I was before. It's not lost on me how hard it is to work, outside the home. And, a lot of people have gotten a little bit of luxury getting to work from home through COVID and all the things, but working home with kids at your feet, y'all, I know that's a whip. I know it's hard, but when you get to do it for yourself, then you get to manage the time. Then you get to be in control of it all. Then you get to decide when I'm going to give my kids all my time. And then during nap time, I can work and do my stuff. Honestly, the true best tips I have for this, for working full time or working when you're just loaded with, kids and all the things, is, for starters, block off your time, like I said earlier. Second, this is so simple, but I had to be able to get information out to people fast. So I wrote myself an email and I answered the question, what is Plexus? And I wrote an email and I sent it to myself. And then I put it in my phone in a forwards file. And then I wrote another one that says, what does it mean to be an ambassador? And I sent it to myself and I put it in a forwards folder. Back, a lot of people asked nursing questions. So I did a nursing questions one, nursing and Plexus email, sent it to myself. So I had a stack of all these emails. So anytime somebody would ask and I was working, I could say, just send me your email address. They'd send it to me. I'd forward them the stuff and move on. I still have all those original emails. And sometimes I'll go to my forwards box and scroll back to 2013. Sadly, I save everything. I know it's really ridiculous, but I can go back and see how many times I sent this out, y'all. People ask all the time, and it simplified my day because instead of having the same conversation over and over with everybody, I could take that and just send it. I knew what was in it. I knew what I said in it. I knew that if they reached back out to me, I knew what that email said. So, and it was very general, but it was very personal too. I didn't, it wasn't like, hey girl, it was like, all right, this is the deal. This is how it's changed my life. This is what's happened with me. And I told my story and I said, trust me, you went in on this. This has been, let me know if you're interested. If not, let me know if there's anybody out there, maybe a sister or friend or anybody that could totally use this. And that was it. It was a couple paragraphs long. I think all of the diamonds that are on my team, that are my level 1s and 2s, all got this message. So I knew it was working. And when I say working, I knew I was communicating properly to people. I knew they were hearing what I was trying to say. They knew it wasn't salesy. It wasn't schleppy. I'm very real with my people. I voice messaging, do lots of that. People to read anything. I want them to hear the inflection of my voice. And you guys know another thing that helped when I worked is I could leave a voice message to somebody and then I could just forward it to multiple people. But that was very helpful for me too. I made folders on my computer and in my phone for ProBio 5, for BioCleanse, for all the different products. And so I could access stuff quickly because people were at that time when I was new, they were asking me all about the products, and I'm not green at all. I'm not. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm like, gotta go find Rachel Neagle. I don't know if y'all know her. She's one of my level twos, and it kills me because I was like, Rachel, will you answer that for me? But people were asking me all the time, and while I was working at my lunch break, I could pull it up, I could find the little folder, and I could send it on to them. I know this sounds basic. Some of you are probably like, oh, Roz, we've been doing that forever, but these are the things that helped me. I think waking up an hour early too was vital. That little window of us, all of us will say, and you guys will all tell yourself, I don't have any time. There's just no more time in the day. There is. And it's going to take some sacrifice. And I did. I sacrificed some sleep. I sacrificed lunches, and I sacrificed crappy TV at nighttime. But what I got for that sacrifice was an entire life of freedom. My husband was able to quit a job that he was unhappy with. He had a micromanaging boss. We remodeled our house. We were going to move. My kids didn't want to leave their home, so we just remodeled the house. And the whole time we remodeled, he didn't have to work because he didn't have to. So he was going to switch jobs, and we just had unbelievable freedom that we never could have imagined. He now works, and he's so happy. I didn't factor in the vest of burden that carrying the financial strain for our family put on him until we had the freedom of this business. He is so much more lighthearted. He is so happy. And we all have our same stresses and this and that, but we've never had a fight about money since Plexus. Money arguments are tough in marriages. I mean, there's always a little agreement because us ladies are shy of spending often. And we haven't had to go there anymore. We've been able to change just everything about our lives. One last thing, a lot of people had said to me when I started, they were like, oh my gosh, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy like a boat? Are you gonna buy a second home? Okay, I needed a toaster that worked. Okay, I needed the boards on my fence in the backyard that had fallen down for 6 years to be fixed. I needed stop wearing my Walmart jacket that I'd been wearing for 7 years. I mean, just these little things in my life that I was able to upgrade. And I know that sounds so strange, but being able to buy Tide laundry detergent was such a luxury. It actually works. I don't have to buy the generic anymore. And I can buy a value pack of Duracell batteries. Oh my gosh. I felt like I was like this cocky girl at the grocery store with like organic milk and the Duracell battery. But it was just my life. It was just the reality of what, just something that little and what it could do, like for me, and just the joy it brought, and just the simple things. It was just the simple things. And still to this day, those are the things that make me smile. And when I walk down those aisles, I just shake my head. I'm like, gosh, we sure have come far. And I just can't wait to get all my friends who are joining me now where I am. If you're working full time, you guys, you can do this. Trust me, you can do it. I did it. You're going to have to make here and there, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. Have that talk with yourself of what would my life look like if I was a Diamond Ambassador? What are some of the first things I would do? And it's not going to run out and go lavish vacation. Trust me, it's going to be get out of debt. It's going to be pay off the house. It's going to be put my child in a school where they feel safe.
Roz, I think you're frozen. Is Roz frozen? Y'all, she almost had my eyes leaking. I'm glad she got frozen right then. Gracious. All right, well, she's still frozen. Man. All right, well, basically, here's what I learned tonight. Roz created Send, Share, Invite. I hope that Plexus gave her a cut of that. She would do a Send, Share, Invite 9 years ago when it wasn't even a thing, y'all. Smart. I loved when she said she was a conduit for getting, like, she had a responsibility to get these life-changing products in people's hands. Sometimes that purpose, when you have the why am I putting myself out there? Because I can change someone else's life. Like the rest takes care of itself. So I loved that she said that. I loved that she said, and I did not tell her to say this, but she said the biggest tip of advice is block your time. Block your time. Just that simple. Regardless of where your time is automatically going, whether you work or you're home or whatever, block your time. I thought that was really good. And another thing I respect about Roz is she's a problem solver. She had obstacles. Like, man, I have a lot of level ones, which this was the smartest thing she said on the whole call. Go find you a bunch of people who want to work at the same pace you want to work. Go find those people. But she created herself a new set of problems, right? With that, because then they all had questions. And so she just got really resourceful. She did not shoulder the responsibility of everything that they learn must come from her. Like, she just sent them out. She taught them to go find and be empowered. So I absolutely love Rozalyn. And I did take an extravagant vacation when I went diamond. So if you are the vacationing type, which that is my hobby. Listen, we were talking today about hobbies. I feel like vacationing is mine. And so I'm good at it, and I would like to practice it more. So that's what I will do. John Maxwell.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I totally got booted off. My router went out and I totally got booted off. I apologize.
That's okay. It was my emotion meter. You know, I'm not the emotional one, Roz. And like, my eyes were starting to sweat, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Kicking her out? I'm just kidding. I would never kick you out.
I am so sorry, but I did take what I just heard you say that. I did take an extravagant vacation. We did take our kids to Disney World. And I remember we videoed the whole thing. And I remembered it was their dream from when they started. And I told them, I said, if mama does this, y'all, we're going. They were little back then. They were like 10 and 12. I mean, that's little for me. My kids are, one's in college and one's about to graduate this year. But we went all out. We pimped out that Disney vacation, and it was the best, y'all. It was so awesome. So I'm still, there were some pretty amazing things we've done, and that Disney vacation was crazy fun. So
I'm just loving
bringing your kids involved in this, you guys. That's a big one.
I just love that you said pimped out. Listen, I'm down for that, Roz. Yeah, man, that was so good. Let me stop this recording so I can flatter you with all